It's that time of year again. The snow is mostly melted and it's mountain bike season. The theme for this particular month, or the last 4 blog posts, has been on risks. In particular, taking calculated risks. We take risks throughout our lives, but most of us have a very low risk tolerance and that we're quite adverse to taking any kind of risk in life. And the reality is that we don't continue to develop and we don't progress, we don't get closer to reaching our goals in life unless we are willing to take risks. My family, most people would agree or argue, is a family or a group that takes more risks than most. And you have to be intelligent about it. Certainly, risks by their sheer nature can have disastrous consequences if we're not intelligent about the way that we approach risks. And that's what risk management is all about. It's about identifying risks early, studying and understanding the risks, and then applying risk mitigation strategies as needed to try to minimize the probability of a negative risk occurring, or minimize the impact of that particular risk. I've taken some fairly large, what I would call leaps of faith or plunges into the unknown in my life. And if I look back and think of the areas where I've really most developed myself, it's during these times when I've been willing to take a calculated risk. When I started my own business, really everyone told me not to. And these are many people that were very close to me, even that I respect. They said, you'd be a fool. You're going to leave a pensioned engineering position to do what? Become a speaker? And there was so much unknown. But I decided to do it anyway. I didn't want to look back and say, well, what if? You know, what if I had taken that chance? And I've applied that mentality at many times in my life. You know, try not to leave any stone unturned. You don't want to look back and say, what if? And so I decided to do it anyway. And there were a lot of risks associated with it. I had a plan. I had risk mitigation strategies. I took on a part-time professor position, going to the colleges to help kind of minimize the financial risk I was taking. But I'm just so glad I did it. It's more aligned with my own really motivations in life and the areas that get me most excited. And that's in terms of working with other people and speaking in front of large groups. And for those of you who heard my mental health story, you understand why. Really, when we've overcome some major challenge in life, every time we're able to do it, there's this feeling of elation and satisfaction that we get. And I think that's one of the reasons why I just love what I do. Having a fun little last of winter ride with Arya. Oh, I think we're stuck. How's it going back there? When we're talking about risks, I really approach risk management from a project management point of view. My background is, of course, in engineering and project management, and it's all about not blindly going into situations without doing our due diligence. But I have to balance that with really my mentality of agility, and that I'm not for drowning ourselves in all the negative possibilities that can happen. Have a working knowledge so that we can apply mitigation strategies, but then don't continuously immerse yourself in everything that can go wrong. I had those types of people on projects, the dark cloud type people, and I found that when you're always thinking and concentrating on everything that can go wrong, it just ends up happening. So the idea is, do your due diligence, understand the risks involved so that we can apply risk mitigation strategies, and then focus on what you want to accomplish. That's what you should fill your mind with, the solutions, and that's how you achieve results. So the question is, what is your risk appetite? And many times we have to look at things in our lives that we're particularly avoiding and ask ourselves, do I need to take some sort of a calculated risk in this area in order to improve my life or improve the lives of those around me? And most of the time, the challenge is that we get comfortable in whatever activity we're in. And this was really one of the reasons why I took quite a leap of faith in my vocation, because I spoke to a lot of senior individuals in the company I was with, and many of them, they said, well, I wish I had done something differently, but I got comfortable. And that's what can happen when we have so many responsibilities in life and mortgages and car payments and so on, that we're afraid to take any risks at that point. And I've always tried to guard myself against that, to not allow myself to get too overexposed so that I wasn't able to be agile and make changes and take leaps of faith when needed. Give me a minute. This is the first ride of the season, so the legs are not very strong yet. Beautiful day though. Only a little bit of snow left. Many of my programs are, of course, built around my family's expedition on Mount Everest. And most people can't see how something like that could be worth the risks involved. And there certainly are risks. But when I approach risks, because I'm an engineer by trade, I really look at statistics. And that's exactly what I looked at the particular case. It's fairly high, the number of climbers that lose their lives. About 1.5%. 1.5 people in 100 lose their lives on Mount Everest. But I also studied what's causing these deaths. And most of the time, it's human error. In the last number of years, there's of course been some natural disasters that have claimed huge numbers of people. But most of the time, it's climbers that don't take the planning seriously, deviate from their schedule, push too far in the altitude before they're acclimatized, end up getting these edemas and losing their lives. And so if you can mitigate the human aspect, the human error, possibility of human error, it becomes that much safer an endeavor. And that's exactly what we did. Of course, this is my family, my father, brother, sister, and I. And we really looked out for each other that much more than a random climber that would join an expedition in order to make an attempt on Mount Everest. So it's not that I'm risk averse. I take a lot of risks in life, but I try to take them intelligently. I try to plan and be aware of what can change, be ready to make changes when needed, and that's how I navigate through a lot of the things I've been through. And I apply that to my business, apply that to mountaineering, apply that to a lot of the internal challenges I've went through with mental health and anxiety and depression. And I found it to be very effective in my life. And so by no means do I encourage people to make rash decisions in life without considering the consequences. But I do encourage people to assess and try to understand what's holding them back. Usually it's a self-imposed limitation or a belief about ourselves, a negative belief that's really preventing us from taking action. And if we hold on to that and we don't try to make a cognitive change, we're dooming ourselves to be cemented in our current reality for the rest of our lives. And for some people, maybe that's okay. But I think if you really want to grow and develop and have an enjoyable, fun-filled life, you can look back on and say, "Wow, I really lived life to the fullest. I made great relationships. I traveled the world." And whatever your real passion is in life, then it is a matter of taking risks sometimes. And that's what this mental shift's all about. Thought changes and self-reflection without action are not a whole lot of use, other than in changing our emotional response, which in many ways is crucially important. But in terms of making meaningful changes in our lives, it's about the action steps. And the one I want to leave you with is to examine your own life and try to identify the areas where fear and your own limitations are preventing you from taking action. And a lot of times it comes down to shifting our mindset. More than anything, it's do the adequate planning, but don't get stuck in continuously thinking about it and planning. Take the leap. Take the plunge with both feet and take the risks that are required in order to make a meaningful change in your life. Don't forget to click the subscribe button in the bottom right hand side of the video, and I'll see you in a future video. In the meantime, live life to the absolute fullest. Take care.